Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back today with my review of the Retro Toy Biz X-Men series Dazzler review. Now, get a good look at Dazzler here in the packaging. I was totally surprised to find her. I walked into one of my local toy shops, and they all know me, so they're like, hey, guess what just came in? And I was thinking these were going to hit late August, and the only one somebody beat me to was Storm, unfortunately, but I went ahead and I have wanted this figure, this version of Dazzler, for so long it's ridiculous. And as most of you already know, this is the version of Dazzler she appeared in the X-Men arcade game. So that was my first exposure to Dazzler. You know, as a kid I didn't know who it was. I always picked Wolverine or Cyclops when I played that game, but still I've always wanted that team complete. As you can see here in the packaging, her only accessories are her two little, they call them power effects. On the back here, you can see they kept the retro style card back with the other pictures of the characters in the wave, and her read-up says, Dazzler uses sonic vibrations and impressive speed to take down her enemies. Though she can channel sonic energy in many forms, her preferred method of sonic battle is through the power of music. Then the read-up just repeats in different languages. So, I have waited a long time for this figure. Let's open her up. And here we have Dazzler out of packaging. I went ahead and clipped both her energy effects on and put her on one of these little generic NECA plastic bases. We'll get a full 360 of her here. Now they definitely nailed her look. As you can see here, it's just fantastic. It's really, her retro style is so much better than that disco Dazzler they gave us a few years ago. Now, her little energy effect clip-ons, I've never been crazy about these. I mean, they're fine. I'm not particularly fond of any of these little clip-ons. I like these better than the little bubble ones they always put in there. Her little effects have to clip into this particular socket right here. Her arms are a little too big for this, well, a little too small for this one, because if I can get her popped on there, the only way those are going to stay if you put them directly on this little cuff, and even then, yeah, it's still looking like it's barely on there. So, go with a smaller one in my opinion. But again, I've not even made up my mind if I'm going to display her with these, because I think she looks fine without them. So, as far as Dazzler's articulation, her head goes up and down. It does a full 360 despite the jacket, which is very nice to see. Arms are on a ball joint, do a full 360, go out and up to about there. They bend and spin at the elbow, not hindered by the jacket at all, which is really nice. They kind of rolled it up to her sleeve. She does have a wrist joint. This little cuff is actually a separate piece. You can see if you slide it down there, it'll actually go further down. So, still though, hinged wrist, very nice. Well, actually, no, she's got a bit more than I thought she would as far as ab articulation. She goes back, forward, left and right. I don't know if you could get a full 360. I feel like I'm going to damage something if I try that. So, legs go forward, back, out to about here, spin at the quadricep, double jointed knee, and of course ankle joint with is there a pivot in there? This one feels kind of stiff, yeah. It's very stiff, but there is a pivot. So, let's get her back up here. Yeah, as a kid, I could never remember Dazzler's name in the arcade. Again, I never really played her when I went. I was always picking either Wolverine or Cyclops. But that's one of the few arcade games me and my buddies, I think we went to a Chuck E. Cheese, and we all had like 15 bucks worth of quarters, and we just went through and cleared the whole game. So, you know, I definitely have fond memories of that. I'd love to see that arcade one-up company actually do a version of that particular X-Men. I'd buy that in a second. You gotta kind of watch these clip-on effects. They like to bend, and we'll just do it with her one on. So, as far as her detail, I've already said she looks great, just like she did in the retro game. No real paint errors that I can find. Very nice detail on her costume. You can see her little star on her side boot there. Well, not really her boot, her leggings. Yeah, I moved her belt around. She's got the little X logo there on her belt. Her foot peg isn't very deep. It doesn't really want to connect to this, but it will hold her up once you, put her on there. But then again, Marvel Legends, they usually don't have an issue standing without a base. So this figure is going to run you about 20 bucks if you find it in the wild. The local toy shop I found it out marked it up to 25. I am so happy that I finally have the Dazzler from the X-Men arcade. I actually got rid of my old Nightcrawler, so now the official last figure I need is that Nightcrawler coming out in the next series of Legends. But this, if you're like me, I think she's an improvement over the Disco Dazzler that came out a while back. I think she's a great addition to your X-Men team if you're not a big fan of the arcade like I am. But of course, as I know many of you are, this is going to be the one, aside from Storm, that's going to be hard to get because people want her for the arcade team. I highly recommend picking her up, and that being said, this is JTray997, and I'll see you soon, YouTube.
Audio Jungle.